Go. All right. So now you know it's recording because you got to see the countdown. So yeah, the 60 is given. Or again, if you know it's 6 slices, you could divide it out. So let's do, I'm going to start with sector area first. Then we'll do arc length. Because I kind of think of it like you're eating the pizza. First you have your area of the pizza. And then you've got your crust. So the easiest way I find to do this is think of the whole pizza. I can get that area. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Right? So pi times 6 squared is 36 pi, or around how much?
504.
504 square inches. Now, one thing I also remind you guys of, there are a lot of the problems are going to ask you to leave them in terms of pi, so kind of get comfortable doing it either way. Don't get tied to one or the other. But that's not the area of one piece. That's the whole pizza. What's up?
Okay, so when I did pi r squared, it's pi times, or I got 113. I have no idea. That's what my calculation.
Oh, never mind. It's 115.
That's what I get for listening to you guys.
My calculator said 504 too.
You probably did pi r and then squared it.
What?
Pi times r and then squared it, that would probably give you the bigger number.
No.
113?
I don't know how I got it then.
Yeah, 113.
That makes more sense too.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's our 113. It's still not what I'm looking for.
Is that the whole pizza or the slice?
That's just, guys, that's the whole pizza. Now, just to get this slice, I want 60 degrees out of the total 360. That'll give me the area of my sector out of the whole pizza. Cross multiply and divide, and that'll get me the actual area of the sector I'm looking for. Yes?
How do you do, what is like you're having two different units because you're having the degrees times
Mm-hmm. But if you look at your units, the degrees will cancel degrees. My answer will be left in terms of square inches.
Okay.
So it still works out. You do your cross product and then divide. Now what's nice about this, if I had worked in terms of pi, I would get an answer of 6 pi. And let me verify that real quick here. 6 times 3.14, 18.8. Now let's verify that that's what I get. 60 divided by 360 times 113. Yeah, 18.84.
Where did the pi come from?
That in the 6 pi?
Yeah.
If you replace the 113 with 36 pi, and you carry it through, you'll get an answer of 6 pi when you're done.
Well, why can't you didn't do it. You did 113.
And if you do 113, you get 18.84.
I'm so confused. You never write words, you just write the answers, and then it's like.
All right, skip too many steps there?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the answer you usually left in terms of pi?
Erase all the 8 equals 6.
Okay, let me go back here.
Okay.
And part of it too is I don't want you guys to not be able to carry stuff through in terms of pi. So let me review it with it in terms of pi first.
And you can always just divide it by
Right.
by 1.
So when I cross multiply, I get 60 times 36 pi equals 360a. Clean up this side of the equation. So 60 times 36, 2160. Pi is 360a divided by 360. And I'm left with 6 pi as my answer.
That's it.
Anyway.
That's it. Now, if you work strictly in terms of decimals, you're like, screw that pi crap, I'm not good at it, don't want to do it.
Me.
60 over 360 equals a over 113. Cross multiply. 113 times 60, it gives me 6780 equals 360a. Divide that by 360. And lo and behold, I get that 18.8 equals A. which is actually what I would get if I take 16 or 6 times pi. Does that make more sense now?
Yes.
Now, the thing I'll also throw out there, for those that are looking at this and you're like, you know, I don't like proportions, they're not really me. Sector area can also be found as pi r squared times m over 360. I'm not a huge fan of memorizing formulas for sector area because it's stuff that you can do with a proportion, which is usually easier to remember. Because just keep thinking, a sector is a fraction, a portion of the full pi. So you don't need to memorize a special formula for it, unless you're really good at memorizing formulas and it works better for you. What I still haven't answered yet is this arc length. But arc length is going to work on the same principle. So if I look at the same piece of pi, which is 6 inches here and 60 degrees here, and I want this right here now, I can use the same idea. I'm looking at a portion of the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi times the radius, or 12 pi when I substitute in the 6. And so it's 60 is to 360, as the arc length is to the circumference. Haley, what's up?
Does that mean that like the 18.8 or the 6 pi is the circumference of the whole thing? Like what's that answer mean?
The 18.8 is the number of square inches in this sector. And then when I work this out, this length, that will be the actual linear distance of that piece of crust. Let's see, when I cross multiply, I get 60 times 12, which is some number. Let's see here, 60 times 12. I'm not good at these in my head yet. 720 pi, 360 arc, divide by 360. I get 2 pi is equal to the length of the arc, which is roughly equal to 6.28 inches. Shoot.
Okay, so what is the 360 arc in the actual formula?
Oh, here, let me get down to one letter for a variable. 360 times a.
And that just means that it's the minor arc rule.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The previous slide, Emily was all, why can't you divide 113 by 6?
Why can't you divide 113 by 6? Because there are 6 pieces?
Is that because you're only going to do that?
Actually, Emily absolutely is right, and you can just divide it by 6.
Wait, could you teach us that way? It's way easier.
Well, here's the catch. The reason you can divide either of these just by 6, same thing over here talking about looking for the arc length. Because again, we divide this pizza into 6 even pieces, and that's where that 60 degrees comes from. That works as long as you can think of your sector as a nice, neat fraction of a whole. Right.
So you find the circumference of the whole pizza.
And then divide it by how many pieces there are. The problem that you would run into with that idea is if I give you a new pizza,
Wait,
and hang on, I'll go back, and I tell you I want to get the area of that sector right there, which is 22 degrees. Well, how many pieces of pizza do I have if each angle is 22 degrees? And now if you're okay with going, oh, okay, well, 22 degrees divides into 360, that's this many pieces, it works. But my advice is try to stick with the proportions and the angles. It'll generally work out better.
We're gonna quiz over this one.
What if you have like a pie, where there's like a 60-degree piece and an 18-degree piece and like a 5-degree piece?
Yeah?
What happens then?
Then you work with however many total pieces you have. Whatever the total of that central angle is, that's what you use in your proportion. So if you're talking about adding up a 20-degree piece, an 18-degree piece, and a 40-degree piece, that's 78 total degrees. That's what you would drop in here as the portion out of the total 360.